Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a waiting room? God has given you a promise, a dream, a vision for your life, and you know where you're headed. But right now, you're not there yet. You're in the middle, the messy, confusing, sometimes frustrating middle. If that's you, then you're in the right place, because today we're talking about faith in the middle, trusting God between the promise and the payoff. The Bible tells us in Hebrews 11:1 that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's easy to say when you first get the promise, and it's easy to celebrate when you finally see the payoff. But what about the journey in between? What about when the promise feels a million miles away and all you can see is the problem in front of you? That space, that gap, is where true faith is forged. It's not just about believing God can do it. It's about trusting Him while He is doing it. Think about one of the greatest in-between stories in the Bible, the story of Joseph. In Genesis 37, we see a young man with a big dream from God. He's going to be a great leader, so great that even his family will bow down to him. That's the promise. Fast forward to Genesis chapter 50, and what do we see? Joseph is the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving the known world from a devastating famine, and his brothers are, in fact, bowing before him. That's the payoff. But what happened in between? What happened in those 13 long years? It was anything but glamorous. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused of a terrible crime, and thrown into a dungeon. He was forgotten, overlooked, and left for dead. Can you imagine the thoughts that must have gone through his mind? God, where are you? Did I misunderstand? Was that dream just a silly fantasy? His reality looked nothing like his promise. This is the very essence of the middle. The middle is the pit. The middle is the prison. The middle is where your circumstances scream the opposite of God's promise. And maybe you can relate. Maybe God promised you financial breakthrough, but you're staring at a stack of overdue bills. Maybe He promised you restoration in your family, but the conflict seems worse than ever. Maybe He promised you a purpose, but you feel lost and insignificant in your current situation. This is the critical moment. This is where so many people give up. They see the distance between where they are and where God said they would be, and they lose hope. But I want to encourage you today. The middle is not a sign of God's absence. It's the stage for His greatest work. The middle may feel messy, but it's where God is building your miracle. Look at what was happening while Joseph was in the pit and the prison. He wasn't just waiting, he was being prepared. As a slave in Potiphar's house, he learned administration, management, and leadership. He learned how to run a household with integrity and excellence. In prison, he learned to rely on God for His gift of interpreting dreams and learned to lead even among prisoners. Every single painful, unfair, difficult step was a training ground. God was using the hardship to shape his character, to build his resilience, and to position him for the palace. The very things that were meant to destroy him were the things God used to develop him. Your middle is your training ground. That difficult job is teaching you patience and skill. That season of loneliness is teaching you to depend on God alone. That financial struggle is teaching you stewardship and trust. God isn't wasting a single moment of your pain. He is redeeming your time in the waiting room and using it to prepare you for the weight of the promise He has for you. He's not just preparing the promise for you, He's preparing you for the promise. So, how do we keep trusting God in this in-between space? First, we have to hold on to the promise. Joseph never forgot his dreams. Even in the darkest moments, he held on to what God had shown him. You need to write down the vision God has given you. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself daily of what God has said, because your memory of the promise has to be stronger than the reality of your problem. Second, we must serve faithfully right where we are. Joseph didn't sulk in Potiphar's house or in the prison. He served with excellence. He bloomed where he was planted. He used his gifts to the best of his ability, even when no one important was watching. Don't wait until you get the promotion or the platform to start being excellent. Be faithful in the small things, in the unseen places. Your faithfulness in the middle is what qualifies you for your future. God promotes those who are found faithful in the little. Third, we have to resist bitterness. Joseph had every right to be angry and bitter. He was wronged by the people who should have loved him most. But when he finally confronts his brothers, his words are incredible. He says in Genesis 50:20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." He saw God's hand in it all. He understood that even the betrayal of his brothers was part of a bigger divine plan. Holding on to unforgiveness will anchor you to your past and prevent you from moving into your future. Forgive those who have hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Your story isn't over just because you're in a difficult chapter. The middle is just that, the middle. It's not the end. The God who gave you the promise is the same God who is walking with you through the process. He is a master craftsman, and he's using the pressures of the in-between to shape you into the person you need to be to carry the blessing he has for you. The pit prepares you for the palace. The test comes before the testimony. The breakdown often comes before the breakthrough. So if you're in the middle today, take heart. You are not forgotten. You are being forged. Keep trusting, keep serving, and keep believing. Your payoff is coming. God is faithful, and he will complete the good work that he started in you. The middle is not your final destination, it's simply the path to your destiny. Thank you so much for watching. If this message encouraged you today, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share a time when you saw God's faithfulness in the middle. You never know who your story might encourage. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.